All right. Taylor Wallace here, hanging out in my kitchen this time. And for this at home sessions, I have the pleasure of once again getting to sit down and talk to Phoebe Bridgers. Phoebe, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's that cool piece of art behind you?
I don't know. Somebody left it here. I have actually other cool art. Actually, I can pander to Austin right now. I have a Daniel Johnston.
Oh,
art
that
piece.
is so righteous.
It's pretty cool. It's called Tor and Weirdy. I bought it a couple years ago. It's my prized possession.
That's awesome. Next time you come to Austin, you'll have to go to the new Central Library, which on its own is just this beautiful piece of architecture and books and stuff. But they just put in a huge Daniel Johnston mural in
That's
there
awesome.
on the fifth floor. And every time I go see it, I get emotional.
That's so cool.
It's huge and it's stunning.
Wow, I love that.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. I know you've got several interviews today, and thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us. And I got to talk to you last time. We did a KUTX thing, and that was a buttload of fun. And I mean, obviously, so much has happened. It's interesting that like from Stranger in the Alps, it's like you've never left our rotation because you've never stopped releasing music in one iteration or another. And so it's like getting breadcrumbed all of these great like Phoebe Bridgers attached projects with all of these other awesome people anyway. I've been a Conor Oberst fan since I was 12 and I'm 29 now. So I just want to jump into that. What is it? What was the Better Oblivion Community Center, the inception of that, and then getting to kind of do this weird, like we're two kind of like people from an interesting facet of the indie world. And here we are on Stephen Colbert making this grand like project reveal.
It was amazing. I mean, I have this like joke with Connor that he has to someday record one song with each like fake band he's ever started because he has a tendency to like be like best friends with somebody for a night and then be
Uh-huh.
like, we're going to start a band. So he did that to me one night when we were on tour in Europe early 2017 before my record even came out. And I was like, yeah. And then he kept following up about it, and then we started writing songs. And it was just super low key when we were recording it. We like forgot to tell a ton of our friends about it. So actually that reveal on Colbert was like the first time a lot of my actual close friends found out that I'd made another record.
And I can't, I'm trying to remember, was that before or after the Boygenius EP?
So I recorded, we planned on recording Better Oblivion in June 2018, and then Boygenius, that came together so last minute, and we were like, okay, well, we have 5 days in the beginning of June that we all have off, so let's just record then. So they were recorded in the same month, and then Boygenius came out before, and we went on tour before, so weirdly simultaneously.
Yeah, and then I mean, collaborating with oh my gosh, Matt Berninger for the Between Two Ferns movie songs, which is like such a crazy movie. And then like, but this song is like, I loved playing it on the air and then back selling it and being like, and that hauntingly beautiful song is on the Between the Two Ferns movie.
I love that. Yeah, that was great.
Speaking of Julien Baker and Lucy Dacus, and I know that you're also like have relationships with Soccer Mommy and Billie Eilish and all these other women, and it's really warming and validating to see all of these like young women who are collectively kind of the paragon of music right now, and a lot in different genres, but it's supportive and it's friendly and it's so great to see. And it's also awesome seeing each of you kind of take in your own way, making the industry kind of like, if the industry wants you, kind of making them to comply to what you want to do. Billie Eilish is a mega pop star it's all her own art. all of it is hers. Black Belt Eagle Scout making a whole thing about her Turtle Island tour and making the audience kind of prioritize having female and genderqueer people of color at the front of the stage. And then you, I mean, with your being brave coming out about Ryan Adams and continually kind of referencing that which comes with its own sort of emotional trepidations, but to be able to boldly do that is something that I admire all of y'all taking this on in your own different ways. I just wanted to speak. I wanted to speak to that. Yeah,
that's cool.
And how has that reaction been? I know you said you since 2019 and all of that. What kind of reaction have you received?
I don't know. It's been great. I think it's been normalized a little bit. Maybe I don't read a lot of like internet stuff, so I feel like I've been sheltered from if there was any bad reaction, but the reaction in my interpersonal world was great and definitely way better than before participating in the article. So, yeah, nothing but good to me.
That's great. When I read Meet Me in the Bathroom at the beginning of the year, and I like at first was kind of like questioning like that he was interviewed and how he would be perceived and come off in there, and then he does a good job making himself look like a total ass. So I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, I think I benefited from like not very many people being surprised. You know, I mean, I think a lot of people like to pretend like, oh, I always knew that guy was a dirtbag or whatever, but actually like people who knew him in real life were like, oh, duh, which was a really good. So,
yeah, I mean, even like the Strokes in the book are like, no, man, not a good dude. Yeah. We're sitting here talking to Phoebe Bridgers. Her new album Punisher came out on June 18th, and that going into that album, it would be so easy and to break down all of the different textures of all of the songs, but the kind of overarching theme that I get is it's largely about disassociation and feeling like you're in one place and not being able to appreciate being there or hating being there, and then when you're wishing you were somewhere else, and then when you are in that place or in that mindset, you hate being there too. And I was curious when I was reading your NME cover story earlier today, and talking about that kind of like a lot of that physical disassociation. I'm curious how the pandemic has like challenged that and maybe evolved that for you, or if it has at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely romanticizing my life before in a way that I didn't know I could. Like, I think it's giving a lot of people a newfound appreciation for things they didn't, take stock in. Like just being able to be around your friends or go to a restaurant if you want. It's helped me with my boundaries a lot, I think. I overstep myself kind of a lot. It's hard for me to say no to people. Now it's so great that, I can't say yes ever because I can't leave my house. It's as everybody's saying, in like self-help internet, it's like forcing you to go inward. And it is kind of humbling that there are bigger issues than my interpersonal life, like, protesting and seeing what's happening to so many people in America right now is, I don't know, it's just like, it's humbling. It's forcing me out of myself also a little bit, just like, yeah, I am not the center of my universe right now, which is kind of great.
Yeah, unfortunately there's just been a myriad of atrocities happening around that like have forced us as white people especially to put other things in the center, and to wildly like kind of, no matter what your perspective is, there's still like a radical way that to change and to keep growing from that.
Yeah.
And I've personally been benefiting from having the time to like not only read but having more time to listen too, which has been something that I hadn't had in the past. And that's been a big growth that I've been able to have.
Totally.
Yeah. And in your big press release, I was reading the passage and I was like, this writing style is very familiar. And then I got to the end of it and it was a passage from Carmen Maria Machado, which I thought was so cool. Which, by the way, the reference to the notches and the doors, and then the notches to the doors in one of your songs in this in the album was not lost on me. And I'm curious. Have you read any in the Dream House or any
Oh yeah,
work?
I'm a super fan. Yeah, I read Her Body and Other Parties last year, and I read In the Dream House this year, and yeah, I'm just obsessed with that writing style and her.
Yeah, I'm new to her from that. It was like, you know, it was on every book list of last year, and then I happened to like get in on the library before the holds became like in the hundreds.
Right. Yeah, it was mind blowing. I think anybody who's ever been in a abusive relationship could benefit from In the Dream House, or just anybody who's curious, or especially, you know, queer relationships. I think it just shines a really specific light on a certain type of like emotional abuse, especially for me. That was like the most wild part. It's just beautiful.
I agree. And I, having been in those relationships before, and even like it got me questioning myself. And when I was reading the book, like I had to put it down a couple of times to look at my husband, and I was like, do I do any of these things to you? Do I ever make you feel this way? So it made me like really think about, and he said no. And like we had an open conversation. It was thankfully no. But yeah, I mean, her writing style is beautiful in that it not only opens you up to other things, but makes you like think about yourself too, and check yourself.
Totally.
I didn't mean to get so off topic about your music, but reading that passage today, I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to connect with you on that. I have to say my favorite track on the album is the very last one. And for, you know, I think all the reasons, just the building fanfare, and you've got all of these awesome people, Nick Walcott playing the horns on there, Nick Zinner's on guitar, and you've got Julien and Lucy, and like, it's pretty much everyone who collaborated with you on the album is on that track, right?
Yes. Yeah. Everybody. It was great.
And is that you at the end, just like into the mic?
Yeah, it is.
It's an on-brand last touch, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was so fun. I think it's my favorite too from the record.
And what was the recording process like, having so many of like people close to you who have you've just in all corners of your career, getting to bring them all together into like your second piece?
Great. I'm a sucker for that. Truly, I think on the first record we did that with Scott Street, where everybody on the record kind of had a role in the outro, and then on this one it was just like the metal version of that and like 4 times as many people. It was great. It was very unhinged. I have like a beautiful video of like the boys, my like indie rock boyfriends, like all singing, acting like they're like a Bulgarian male choir. It was great.
That's awesome. That's how I am always imagined in the Leonard Cohen album, I'm Your Man, like the chorus of people and those background songs. That's how I always imagine them, as just like cloaked beings.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and as your like sound is taking on a different trajectory, do you foresee yourself just like going in total sonic directions as you put out more and more music?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that today, because I feel like I went sort of in many directions for this record. I'm wondering if I'll have like a concept album next or something, but yeah, I could kind of see myself doing anything. I love turning folk songs into other genres.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's like my husband and I were talking about this obviously actually just a couple nights ago, about different artists who have been able to just put out something totally different and it's so good, and something else totally different and it's so good. Everyone from like, you know, Beck to Bob Dylan to Leonard Cohen and Lou Reed, and it's just like so cool to listen to. Because I knew I was interviewing you, I was like, I think it would be really cool if you had like some sort of just like hard goth album, or some other just kind of like hard direction, or who knows, I don't know, Phoebe Bridgers does a synth pop album, I don't know.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, Phoebe, thank you so much for talking with us today. I really appreciate the time. And the new album Punisher is out now. It came out on June 18th, and you can get that sucker anywhere. And Phoebe, is there anything you want to leave us with?
Man, do I have like any beautiful like piece of advice or something? Probably not. But
what was the last favorite thing that you tweeted?
Ooh, my last favorite tweet. Actually, my drafts have been on fire kind of lately, because it feels wrong to post like a GoFundMe for something I think is important and then like tweet something stupid. So I've just been like kind of letting my drafts go off. Oh my God. Ellen Degenerate is in my drafts. That's a good one.
Ellen Degenerate?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's, yeah. So there you go. I'll leave you with that on that note.
I like that. Phoebe, thanks for talking to us, and good luck in the rest of the pandemic, and I can't wait to hear what's next.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks.